Hello friends, this is my 19th lecture in Signal System series. My name is Nishtha Verma. The topic which I am going to cover in this lecture are about what is Fourier transform, derivation of Fourier transform, Dirichlet condition, and few Fourier transform of basic signals. About Fourier transform. Till now we have covered Fourier series in our lecture series. We know that Fourier series is basically for periodic signal. Periodic signal can be continuous time and can be discrete time. But our Fourier series was restricted up to periodic signal only, and we know that most of the signal which are present are non-periodic. So that's why Fourier transform came in picture, which is for non-periodic signals. Non-periodic signal is again can be continuous time and discrete time. Now derivation of Fourier transform. The derivation of the equation of Fourier transform comes from complex exponential Fourier series which we did. We know that the complex exponential coefficient is Cn is this one and xt is this one. So when we assume that Tcn is equal to xn omega naught and we put this value means we multiply t by cn, our first equation become this one, and in second equation if we multiply and divide it by t, our equation will become, instead of t we time period, we put 2 by pi summation n tending to infinity minus infinity tn tcn e to the power j n omega naught. Now because we know that non-periodic signal, we always assume that the time period is infinite, so n omega naught will become omega. Because omega is continuous time, that's why the summation, wherever the summation was present in the equation, it will change into integration, and our equation, final Fourier transform equation, will become this one. This equation is for Fourier transform and this equation is for inverse Fourier transform. Now Dirichlet condition. Dirichlet condition is a condition which is a Dirichlet condition is a condition which is must for our Fourier series as well as Fourier transform. I have already explained Dirichlet condition in starting of Fourier series, which I have explained with examples also. I have given the link in description section of that video. Please go through it if you want to learn the Dirichlet condition with example. Here I am just writing the condition. The Dirichlet condition is periodic signal should have finite number of maxima and minima over the range of time period. Periodic signal should have finite number of discontinuities over the range of time period, and periodic signal should be absolutely integrable over the range of time period. So these three conditions should be also fulfilled for Fourier transform. These condition was also with the Fourier series. Now first of all, we are going to calculate the Fourier transform of basic signal, that is delta signal. We know that delta signal look like x. If it is xt, its value is like this, t is over here and x0. So we know that the Fourier transform formula is xj omega is equal to minus infinity to infinity xt e to the power minus j omega t dt. Here xt is nothing but delta function. So here delta t e to the power minus j omega t dt. We know that delta function is, if you remember the property of sampling property, delta t is multiplied by some signal. So if suppose t minus t naught multiplied by x t was there, the value used to be delta t minus t naught, and instead of xt it become xt naught. So here when we see that there is no shifting, it means 0 is present, and when we put the value of 0 over here, e to the power 0 is nothing but 1 only. So delta t 1 dt. And we also know that when we integrate delta function from minus infinity to infinity, its value become 1. So the Fourier transform of basic signal of a delta function is 1 only. So if we try to plot the spectrum of delta function, so we know that the magnitude spectrum of xj omega, definitely its value is 1. So it will look like this only, and there is no angle, so the angle spectrum xj omega will be having no graph because there is no angle present. Now sinc function, it is one of the unbounded signal we can see over here. So we know that for sinc function, as we know the Fourier transform formula, its value is minus infinity to infinity xt e to the power minus j omega t dt. Because this signal having value from is minus 1 from minus infinity to 0, and its value is 1 from 0 to infinity. So we will divide the limits in two parts, minus infinity to 0 plus 0 to infinity. Here in case of negative side, its magnitude is minus 1 e to the power minus j omega t dt, and here its magnitude is 1 e to the power minus j omega t dt. When we try to integrate this equation, we will find that we will get e minus j omega t. In denominator, j omega will come minus infinity to 0, and here it will be e minus j omega t. Minus j omega will come in the denominator, and 0 to infinity. When we try to put the values, we will see that here e to the power 0 will be 1, minus will become e to the power infinity minus 1 by j omega, and it will become e minus infinity will be 0, and e minus 0 will be 1. So here we can see that e to the power infinity is coming. It means this expression will make whole expression infinite only. So using direct Fourier transform formula, we can't find the Fourier transform of sinc function. That's why in this derivation, we will assume that one parameter, that is e minus a mod t, where a tending to 0, because if we multiply it by this equation with xt, and we assume that a tending to 0, then a tending to 0 means it e to the power 0 will become 1. So we can multiply 1 everywhere. So that's why we are taking this parameter, so that we can calculate the Fourier transform. So now our Fourier transform equation will become minus infinity to 0. We know that e minus mod t means it become eat multiplied by e minus j omega t dt plus 0 to infinity e minus at e minus j omega t dt. So here the equation will become minus infinity to 0 e to the power a minus j omega t dt plus 0 to infinity e minus will common a plus j omega t dt. So when we integrate it, we will get e to the power a minus j omega. Here negative sign will come because minus 1 is there. So t a minus j omega from minus infinity to 0, and this will become e minus a plus j omega t upon minus a plus j omega with 0 to infinity. So it become 1 upon a minus j omega. We know that e to the power 0 is 1, and e minus infinity will become 0, and plus here minus will also come, 1 upon a plus j omega, and e minus infinity will be 0, and e minus 0 will be 1. So minus will become 1. It will become 1 upon a plus j omega, and it has become minus 1 upon a minus j omega. So we know that we have assumed that limit a tending to infinity, a tending to 0. So when we put the value, we will get, here it will become minus a j omega, and this is also become 1 upon j omega. So it become 2 by j omega. So the Fourier transform of sinc function is 2 by j omega. Now Fourier transform of unit step signal, here also we should know that this is not a bounded signal because it is going up to infinity, and we know that in Dirichlet condition it is a condition that our signal should be integrable. So when we integrate this signal, definitely we are going to get an infinite value. So that's why using direct formula we can't calculate the Fourier transform of unit step signals. That's why we write that ut is equal to half plus half sinc function. I will prove that why ut is equal to half plus half sinc function. If we try to plot half signal, means DC signal which magnitude is half, it will look like this. And if we try to plot half sinc function, we know that sinc function look like this. And here half magnitude is there, 1 by 2, half 1 by 2 is there. When we try to add these two signal, we can see that here the magnitude is half, here the magnitude is plus, so it will be cancelled out. So, and at the right side it is half plus half, it become 1. So finally our final signal is ut signal only. So sinc function, we know that Fourier transform is 2 pi Fourier transform is 2 by j omega. So we have to find the Fourier transform of half value. So for calculating the Fourier transform of half, we know that Fourier inverse of delta omega will be equal to 1 by 2 pi minus infinity to infinity delta omega e to the power j omega t dt. This is nothing but inverse Fourier transform formula, and we are trying to calculate the inverse of that. Using delta property, we know that its value will become equal to 1. So we will get 1 upon 2 pi Fourier inverse of delta omega. So delta omega we can also write Fourier transform is 1 upon 2 pi. So when we do the cross multiplication, we will get Fourier transform of 1 is equal to 2 pi delta omega. So because we know that we have calculated that ut is equal to half plus half of sinc function. So half value Fourier, because one value Fourier transform is Fourier transform of one DC signal is 2 pi delta omega. So the value of half will be pi delta omega plus half into sinc function Fourier transform is 2 by j omega. 2 will be cancelled out. We will get pi delta omega plus 1 by j omega. So the Fourier transform of unit step signal will be pi delta omega plus 1 by j omega. Now xt is equal to e minus at ut. Here we can, when we try to plot e to the power minus at signal, we can see that it is a bounded signal and it is a stable signal also. So that because of that we can calculate the Fourier transform of e minus at using formula only. So xj omega will be equal to, because ut is there, so limit will become from 0 to infinity, e minus at multiplied by e minus j omega t dt. So when we try to integrate it, we can take minus common, it will become a plus j omega t dt. So when we integrate it, we will get e minus a plus j omega t. In denominator, a plus j omega will come and the limit will be from 0 to infinity. When we take it common, a plus j omega, it become e minus infinity minus e minus 0. So this is nothing but a plus j omega, and minus here minus 1 will come. So minus minus will become plus. So it become a plus j omega. So when we try to plot the spectrum of e to the power j omega, we know that Fourier transform we have calculated is 1 upon a plus j omega. A plus j omega. So we know that the magnitude of a plus j omega will become under a square plus omega square, and the angle when we try to find out, it will become minus tan inverse of omega by a. So when we try to plot this signal, we will see that when omega equal to 0, its value will be 1 by a, that will be maximum value. So our signal will look like this. This is x j omega, and when we try to plot the angle, we will see that our angle will be pi by 2 minus pi by 2. It will look like this. So our spectrum will be angular spectrum, and magnitude spectrum will look like this. The topic which I am going to cover in next lecture will be the properties of Fourier transform and numerical based on it. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.